Okay, so here we have my entire blush collection. I have 3 palettes, 4 full-sized, just normal blushes, and then a couple littler products. I don't have a giant blush collection. I'm not like a huge blush person, to be honest. I just never really have been. I'm happy with what I have, and I don't really need much more. So I'm going to start with the palettes just to kind of show you what is in each palette, and yeah. So the first one is the Tarte Christmas, what is this even called? The Tarte Bling It On blush palette. This is basically the palette that they put out every year for Christmas. It always has different shades in it. It always has Dollface in it, though, which is the number one reason that I really, really wanted it, because I love this shade. They're all just super pretty and pigmented. They're all their Amazonian clay blushes. 4 of them are matte. 1 of them is shimmery. They're all gorgeous, and I use this palette pretty much all the time. And I, will never get rid of this, ever, just because I literally tried to get this palette every year for Christmas, and it was always out of stock, and I finally got it this year, so I will not be letting go of this. Next up, we have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush Palette. This is just one of those things that everybody got really excited about. I got really excited for it too. They're just super pretty. They all just have different tones. I don't even know if you can see this. Mine, a lot of them, it got like the highlighty colors more so than the blushy parts of it, because it is marbleized, so you kind of just get what you get. So this is way more of a highlight than a blush. The bottom 2 are definitely blushes, just the middle one is more highlighty, but definitely will be holding onto this. And the third blush palette I have is the 10 blush palette from Coastal Scents. I got this when I first started really getting into makeup, but I will be passing it on. They're just not what I like. They're definitely very pigmented. I just don't find them to be very soft. I never reach for this anymore, so I could probably send this to a home where it will be used. Next up, we have the Sephora Colorful Cheek Ink Gel. I got this in a Sephora Play box, my very first one. I was super disappointed by that box, and this kind of had a lot to do with it. I don't like gel or liquid blushes, even though this is pretty color. I probably would never use it, so I will be getting rid of it. Going along with that, we have Benetint. This is one of those products that some people love, some people hate. I just have never found a real use for it. I don't like the way it looks on the cheeks or the lips, so I will be getting rid of it. This is the Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush in Plum Wine. It's such a pretty color. I'm not even gonna lie, it's gorgeous. If I can open it, whoa. It is such a pretty color, and these used to be so, insanely popular, and it's pretty. I just don't use cream blushes. I always just use powder, so this never gets used. Next up, we have Hot Mama by The Balm, just a little sample size of it. It's pretty, and I think I kept it because I found out I was allergic to Orgasm blushes. Well, I'm allergic to all NARS blushes. They gave me hives, and I thought this was kind of like Orgasm, so I kind of just kept it because of that. It is quite different. I think it is a little more orangey, if you can even see that swatch. I actually like Orgasm more. I just can't wear Orgasm, so yeah, I don't use this, so I will be passing it on. Next up, we have my 4 full-size high-end blushes. First being MAC Ambering Rose. I love this. It's super pretty. It's just super pigmented, super nice. It's different than a lot of the things I have, and I will not be getting rid of it. Next up, this is kind of difficult for me because I bought this on sale from Sephora, I don't remember how long ago, and it was because I didn't have the palette and I just wanted a Amazonian clay blush, but this one's super shimmery and I don't know, I don't reach for it because there's straight up glitter in it. It's not like the other one where it just kind of makes it shimmery. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there is chunks of glitter, and so I may be passing this on. We'll see. And last up, we have my 2 Benefit boxed blushes. This is Bella Bamba. Super pretty, super watermelon-y pink, and I love it a lot. Even though this has shimmer in it too, it's way finer than the, I didn't tell you the shade of this. This is Fearless by Tarte. But this it looks better on the cheeks in my opinion, so I will be keeping that one. And this is Benefit Hervana. I love this. I have hit pan on it. It's just such a pretty flush. It's not super like in your face or anything, but it is just very pretty, very feminine, and I will definitely be keeping it. Okay, so those are my blushes. We will now jump into bronzers and highlights. Okay, so now we have my bronzers and my highlighters. I love highlighter. I just don't ever find the need to really have a ton. And because I'm super pale, I tend to not need too much bronzer. So this is all that I have, and I'm pretty happy with this, but there is still stuff that I'm not using. So let's just jump in. I'm going to start with the palettes again, just so that you can kind of see like what I'm working with. This is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. It is absolutely gorgeous, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I use that shade, this shade sometimes, and this shade rarely, and these two are just pretty much too dark for me. So I'm not getting rid of this because this is the perfect contour shade for me, but I don't think you need the whole palette for sure. You need pretty much just like, because even these I don't find myself really reaching for. I have other stuff that I use that I like better. They are matte and just, I don't know, kind of extra stuff in my opinion. And really the only bronzer I use is this one. So I really think I probably just could have gone to Sephora, found the perfect contour shade for me, maybe gotten some yellowy or peachy highlights, matte highlights, but I don't know. The entire palette just is unnecessary in my opinion. But I'm definitely still keeping it. And next up we have my beloved Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. I put this in a place where I just haven't been using it as much, but I do love it. This is my most used shade. This is Dim Light. I love the way it looks all over the face. It just looks so pretty. This actually looks pretty good all over the face as well, but it's more of a highlighty shade when I want like a very subtle highlight. Don't use this too much, but it is good at warming up the skin lightly because I am quite pale. This does work pretty well for that. This is one of my favorite palettes that I own. I need to put it in a more reachable place just because right now where it is, I just haven't been reaching for it and I've totally kind of forgotten about it. So I'm glad I did this video to remind me. Next up, we'll go to my full size Becca highlights. The first one I'm going to show you is Champagne Pop. Everybody has seen this. It is gorgeous. I will never get rid of this. I love it so very much. Next up, we have my most used Becca highlighter, and that is Moonstone. It just looks really good on my skin tone. I reach for this the most out of all of my Becca highlighters. So, yeah. Oh my god, it's so nice and pretty. Just look at it. Oh, they're so pigmented. You just can't go wrong with a Becca highlighter. You really can't. Next up, we have a tiny little Becca highlighter, and this is Opal. I got this in a set from Ulta, and I'm glad I did because honestly, I'm not going to use up a full-size Becca highlighter, so I am happy that I have this. It is very, very pretty as well. Going along with Becca highlights, we have the Becca, this is so tiny, Shimmering Skin Perfector Spotlight in Opal again. I don't really use liquid highlighters that often, but, I mean, this isn't taking up that much room, and I definitely haven't given it a shot like I should, so I will be keeping this. Next up, we'll go here, because it's right here. This is the Bare Minerals Stroke of Light. I used this for a while, I just don't find myself reaching for it anymore, so I will be passing this on. Next up, we have the Benefit Watts Up. This is my mom's favorite highlighter. I don't find myself reaching for it that often, but I have already gotten rid of so many of these little ones that I think I am just going to keep it for reference. Next up, we have Mary Luminizer from the Balm, just a tiny little one. It's pretty, but I just don't reach for it, so I will be passing it on. Next up, we have my Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I will not be getting rid of this. It is pretty nice. I mean, I don't reach for it a ton now that I have the Kat Von D palette, but I do still really like it. Going along with that, this is the NYC Smooth Skin Bronzer in Sunny, and this was, I was told, a dupe for the Hoola Bronzer, and I do agree with that, and sometimes I think it looks even less muddy than the Hoola bronzer, so if you're looking for a good dupe of Hoola, this is definitely it. But yeah, I will be keeping it. I do use it. Sometimes I like it more than the Hoola bronzer, so yeah. This next one is hard just because I have already gotten rid of this exact product, like in this packaging and everything, and this came in a Sephora box. Jesus. And I originally thought it was too dark for me, but I don't know, after watching some videos and talking to some people, wow, that does not swatch nicely. I've just heard that if you get the milk chocolate, it just tends to not show up. And so I think I'm going to give it more of a shot and then see how I feel. Next up, we have the Bare Skin Sheer Sun by Bare Minerals, and it's just a bronzer serum. I am never going to use this. It's just, I don't know. There's no point in it, honestly, for me. I'm so pale. Next up, this is the hardest thing for me to talk about just because I don't know if I want to keep it or not. I don't really use it, but I used to use it a lot, and I don't know. It's really hard. I think I might pass it on. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass it on. There's just... Oh, God, I got bronzer over the head. But there's no point in me keeping it. I'm not using it. God, that's hard. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass this on. Okay, so that was my bronzer and highlight section of my decluttering. I think next might be eye products.